Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast, where we give you insight on how to get fit, feel younger, live better. I'm your host, Chris Porter, best-selling author and owner of Y.E.S Fitness. And let me first thank you, as always, for taking time from your busy day to listen to what I have to say. And again, before I go any further, let me also thank our sponsor, Y.E.S Fitness. Most people lose the ability to enjoy life as they age. At Y.E.S Fitness, we help people age 40 plus get fit so they can live longer and enjoy those extra years doing the things they love to do. So quick housekeeping here. If you'd like to get a transcript or a timestamp of today's broadcast, head on over to yesfitnessct.com. You'll see a podcast button on the top. Click on that, and that will give you access to any one of our now 363 episodes. You can also get this broadcast wherever podcasts can be found. Why are ultra-processed foods making you sick? And what you can do about it right now. Today, we're taking a look at a topic that I think is going to surprise you and maybe even make you rethink what's in your pantry. We're talking about ultra-processed foods, or what researchers call UPFs, in a brand new study out of Germany that sheds light on just how dangerous these foods really are, not just because of the processing itself, but because of the hidden markers inside them. I promise I'll keep the science simple and actionable, because at the end of the day, it's not about memorizing acronyms or hazard ratios. It's about making smart choices that keep you feeling energetic, mobile, and independent for decades to come. So what are processed foods? You probably think you know what they are, right? So let's start with the basics. Ultra-processed food, UPFs, are not just foods that come in a package. They're foods that are industrially manufactured, stripped of nutrients, and pumped full of additives to make them taste good, look good, and last longer on a shelf. Think about sugary cereals, soda, and energy drinks, packaged snacks, candy, microwave dinners, fast food burgers and nuggets. These are the foods that are easy, convenient, and often marked as fun or even healthy. But there's a kicker. They're usually loaded with sugar, salt, fat, and artificial additives, while lacking the things our body really thrives on: fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals. Now, researchers have known for years that eating a diet high in ultra-processed foods, like yourself, you know this, is linked to things like obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. No surprise there. But what this new study did was take it one step further, and that's where it gets interesting. The study, in plain English for you here, okay? The research published in Clinical Medicine earlier this year looked at over 186,000 people in the UK, men and women between ages 40 and 75. These folks were tracked for about 11 years. And during that time, researchers looked closely at what they ate and how it related to their health outcomes. Now, here's the twist. Instead of just lumping all ultra-processed foods together, the researchers dug deeper. They wanted to see if specific markers of ultra-processing, they call them the MUPS, were connected to higher risk of dying earlier. Markers of ultra-processing are basically the ingredients that scream, "This is fake food." We're talking about artificial flavors, sweeteners like sucralose, coloring agents, flavor enhancers like MSG, sugars that don't naturally occur in whole foods like high fructose corn syrup. The scientists literally combed through the ingredients list of thousands of supermarket products and matched them to what people were eating. Then they tracked the health outcomes. And here's what they found. Number one, ultra-processed foods as a whole were linked to higher risk of dying earlier. The more you ate, the higher the risk. It's that simple. Probably knew that already, but just more fuel for the fire. Number two, here's where it really was eye-opening. Certain categories of additives, these MUPs, carried especially strong risks. Flavors. Eating foods with lots of additive flavors was linked with a 20% higher risk of death compared to people who ate less of them. Coloring agents. Think of those bright neon colored drinks or candies. People who consumed the most had about a 24% higher risk of dying early. Sweeteners, artificial sweeteners like sucralose and saccharin weren't safe either. Higher intake was linked with 14% higher risk. Flavor enhancers, things like glutamate, same story, a measurable increase in mortality. Sugars, the sneaky ones, extra sugars beyond what you'd naturally find in fruit or milk were also tied to higher risks. On the flip side, one category, gelling agents like pectin actually showed a slightly protective effect. That's interesting, but for the average person, it doesn't cancel out the much bigger risk of all the other additives. So why does this matter to you? Now, I know you're thinking, Chris, I don't live on fast food. I eat a salad now and then. I should be fine, right? Well, here's the deal. This is why we're talking about it. In countries like the UK and the US, more than 50% of the people's daily calories now come from ultra-processed food. It's nearly 50%. Pardon me, more than 50% of the people. The guy's coming from ultra-processed foods. That means the average person eating this stuff at almost every meal without even realizing it. And remember, this isn't just about weight gain. This is about your long-term health and mortality, meaning your actual lifespan. The research controlled for everything they could: age, exercise, income, blood pressure, smoking, and the link between these additives and higher mortality still held strong. So it's not just about calories. It's about the chemicals and the fake ingredients we're putting into our bodies day after day. So let's just break down the science without the jargon here, okay? The researchers use something called a hazard ratio to measure risk. You don't need to memorize the numbers, but here's the key takeaway. If the hazard ratio is 1.0, that means there's no added risk. If it's above 1.0, that means risk goes up. So when they say that consuming high levels of coloring agents gives you a hazard ratio of 1.24, that's a 24% increase in the risk of dying earlier. And that's after following people for more than a decade. This isn't a short-term effect. It's a slow, cumulative one. So here's what I really want you to think about. This isn't just about statistics. It's about real people. Imagine two people in their 40s. One chooses mostly whole foods, lean proteins, veggies, fruits, nuts, whole grains, and the other leans heavily on frozen dinners, diet sodas, chips, and packaged snacks. Let's fast forward 10 to 20 years. The first person is still out hiking, golfing, playing with their grandchildren. The second person is more likely to be struggling with chronic diseases, or worse, not even around anymore. That's the human cost of these additives, and that's why I get fired up when I talk about it. So here's some practical takeaways. What you can do. I always want to leave you with actionable steps if I can. Number one, read the labels. If the ingredients list looks like a chemical experiment, put it back on the shelf. I find this all the time. People are always asking me about protein bars. And I just start to look at the list, and I don't even know what any of the words mean. It can't be good. It can't be good. Number two, limit artificial sweeteners. They're marked as healthier, but the data shows they're linked to higher risk. Cut down on packaged snacks and sodas. These are some of the biggest offenders. They cook more at home. Even simple meals made from whole ingredients are light years better for you. Well, we're all busy, and it's super easy to go grab something to eat. And it doesn't even, you think it's not fast food because you're not going to McDonald's or Burger King. It is. Most of these restaurants, it's fast food. So cook at home. Typically tastes better. It's less expensive. Number 5, don't obsess over perfection. This isn't about never touching a cookie again, because God knows I touch cookies. It's about shifting the balance so most of your calories come from real food. So here are my final thoughts. This study isn't the final word. Science never is, but it's one of the most detailed looks we've had at how specific additives, not just ultra-processed food as a whole, affect our long-term health. And the message here is clear. If you want to live longer, if you want to be stronger, if you want to function as you age, minimize the fake stuff. Your body was built to run on real food, not artificial flavors and not neon colored drinks. So next time you're at the store, remember, the choice you make in the aisle can add years to your life or take them away. That's it for today's episode of the Functional Longevity Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you found this helpful, please share it with a friend or a family member who could use a wake-up call about what's really in their food. So again, I'm Chris Barty reminding you, eat smart, move well, stay strong. And until next time, when I give you more information on how to get fit, feel younger, live better, thanks for watching.